Hey, today on Let's Eat with Russ, I'll show you how I make my garlic mashed potatoes. It's pretty basic. Some people know how to make mashed potatoes and add some garlic, salt, and pepper, whatever I get it. But some people are complete beginners and don't know how to do some of these things. So I like to use red potatoes personally. You can use pretty much whatever your potato you prefer, or whatever you have on hand. You can do russets or red potatoes, or I don't know, there's so many kinds of potatoes I can't keep up with it. So I'm not cooking for a lot of people, so I'm just going to do a couple of these and make sort of a small batch. One little kind of trick, one of the things I struggle with the most still to this day is if you're cooking a whole meal, is timing everything to be ready at the same time. So the potatoes, you actually have a lot of leeway because you can cut the pieces larger and they'll take longer to cook, or if you're in a rush, you can cut them pretty small and they'll cook faster. And if you really want to buy yourself time, you don't have to put them on the super highest heat to get them to a complete crazy full boil. You can let them just kind of chill out, pardon the pun, in the hot water for a couple of hours, really, if you need the time. So if you're just trying to juggle multiple dishes at the same time and it's easy to just get these out of your way and let them cook slow, you can do that. Or if you're running behind, you need to cook them super fast, then like I said, you can just cut them small and run the temperature hotter, so you have a lot of control over how fast they get cooked. I'm going to get these going on the stove real quick, and then I'm going to prep the garlic. Also, if you run the heat, if you run the hot water in your sink before you fill this up, that'll speed things up too, because that way you're already halfway to boiling. So I just want to cover them by about a good, inch or so of water is probably enough. If it starts looking like it's boiling down, you can always just dump some more water in there. It's not a big deal. So I'm going to get those going. I'm going to use 3 or 4 garlic cloves for this. You can use more or less depending on your taste. So with the skins, what I usually will do, sometimes I'll just kind of twist and bend them a little bit. And then that'll just peel right off. Or another way, if you're just going to mince, so if you want them peeled, that's a good way to peel them. If you're just going to mince it anyway, then I just take it with the knife and gently give it a smash, and then the peel comes right off from that too. So it's just a couple easy ways to get the garlic peeled. And I am going to be mincing this. I'll do that one in a minute. So then I take them once they're already peeled, and I do the same thing, but I smash it a little harder. And then just and sometimes I'll actually just kind of press down and drag the knife across it on the cutting board. If it needs to, I'll give it a little bit of an extra chop. So that's basically the prep work. I'm also going to add some chopped parsley, but I already did that in my Ulu knife video, so I have that ready. And I don't use a lot of the parsley. I'm using it in 2 different things today, so I chopped plenty. So that's basically that segment, and I'll show you the rest of the potatoes when it's time. All right, got the potatoes cooked. I forgot to mention, you can put a lid on them or not. It'll help you, I guess, boil off less water, but if there's enough water in there, they can boil open without a lid. Doesn't matter really either way. So I actually like to throw the garlic, if it's fresh especially, in right away, because I didn't really like saute the garlic first, so that it can cook a little bit with the hot potatoes. I like to get that in there immediately. And I like to get the butter in immediately so it starts melting. I should have pulled it out and left it on the counter before I started this, but I forgot. It'll be fine. And I'm using about 3 tablespoons of butter for this many potatoes. You can adjust that to your preference as well. And I'm not using a mixer, I'm just using the old-timey hand potato masher. And I didn't mention it earlier, you can peel these potatoes if you don't like potato skins in your mashed potatoes. I always leave the peels on. one, I like it better that way, and two, they actually, a lot of the nutrition in the potato is actually in the peel, so it's a little bit better for you. Just trying to get this butter to melt here. While I do, I might as well add some salt and pepper. Whoops. I go a little heavy with the pepper on mine. And I don't use a ton of this, but I'll throw in some fresh chopped parsley from my Ulu knife video. That's probably plenty. Now my butter is probably mostly all melted, and just keep kind of mashing and stirring here. Yeah, butter's mostly melted. And I measured out a 1/4 cup of milk, but I'm going to add it a little bit gradually, because if you add too much milk, there's not much you can do about soupy potatoes. If they're a little thick like this, then you can always add a little more milk. So I'm going to start with not all of that. And even if you have them already ready to this point and you're still waiting for your garlic bread to come out of the oven or whatever it is at the end of getting everything together for a meal, on really, really crazy low, you can just set these even mashed in the pan on the stove just to keep them warm. And if they, stir them pretty regularly, and if they start to dry out a little bit, you can just add a little bit of more water and just give them a stir, or milk if you prefer to. So anyway, that's how I make garlic mashed potatoes. I've stopped ordering them in restaurants because I always like mine a lot better than whatever I get from a restaurant. So I think they're pretty good. Give them a try. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.